machines that gave us all these other amazing innovations need to put our energy toward this, like, fast. Because again, like
The thing we need to put all of our energy and our brains towards is stopping TikTok, is what Jonathan Greenblatt is saying.
Mm-hmm.
I'll make that very clear.
facing this left-right divide, it's the wrong game. The real game is the next generation, and the Hamas and their accomplices, the useful idiots in the West, are falling in line in ways that are terrifying. Last thing I'll just say, we saw a dramatic change in the language of the activists here in America on October the 8th.
This part is wild. This part is truly wild, by the way.
Which of groups that we've long tracked who've long been problematic. Like,
Listen to the groups that he identifies as who are the problem here.
Women's for Justice in Palestine and Jewish Voices for Peace. They flicked like this and went to like Iranian propaganda. The language I could show you from their toolkits, because our analysts are in their group.
They're literally just saying that any sort of like end the genocide that is taking place in Palestine right now is Iranian propaganda. Which, by the way, if you want to like boost up Iran, you know what a good way to do that is to kill 30,000 Palestinians and then say anybody who's mad about that is doing Iranian propaganda. So that makes Iran look great.
Yeah, it might be, but so if I was to buy, 100%, this is Jewish Voices for Peace, which I'm a member of. Okay, you've convinced me. It's all I'm doing the bidding of Tehran. Great. That doesn't mean the genocide's not happening. It's the same thing where I used to say about Russia Today, where people be like, that's Russian propaganda. I'm like, yeah, but when they talk about America, that doesn't make it wrong. So it's like, yeah, so who cares, though? You're just trying to invent a boogeyman.
Yeah, there's a little bit more.
October the 8th, it was that fast. Like, the language in their toolkits was all about the Zionist entity. And a lot
It's always been, by the way, about like the Zionist entity, the settler colonial project. Like, that's pretty common language for like anti-Zionist struggle, and it's used by a lot of Jews. Groups like Jewish Voice for Peace, like literally.
Right.
That we recognized from Iranian propaganda.
So there you go.
Don't you mean Iranian-backed Jewish Voices for Peace?
Yeah.
Don't you mean that?
But
Hamas Health Administration.
You were saying that you're thinking that this is not. So do you think it's not at all motivated by?
That's a bonus. This is a bonus.
So here's my take on it, and you can sort of respond if you'd like. But like my take on it is I think you're right that like they would try and ban TikTok like if they could like as soon as TikTok started.
Mm-hmm.
Right, as soon as TikTok became significant, they would ban it because they think they do think it's something that they can't control. But now, because they're literally like AIPAC and ADL like fund their like a lot of Democrats, specifically Democrats, but also Republicans, electoral campaigns, they now have a weight pushing them towards doing it as soon as possible. And that's sort of like where I'm at when it comes to like why this is being pushed right now. And you see people like Nancy Pelosi and like all of the essentially the ADL backed Democrats like pushing like super hard for this. I just saw a clip a minute ago of, I wish I could find it. God, here it is. Nancy Pelosi right here, being cringe as hell, talking about this. Hold on.
This
Ready?
is not an attempt to ban TikTok. It's an attempt to make TikTok better. Tic-tac-toe. A winner.
Pokemon, go to the polls.
Go to the poll. Like if you're like trying to show how like disconnected from actual people you really are, you're doing a great job, Sweaty. But like,
oh God, dude, this country's done.
Yeah, we're so good, man.
So, I want to circle back before I get into the banning thing. Like everything that guy from the ADL is saying that's who it was, right? The ADL, I can't remember.
It was Jonathan Greenblatt from the ADL.
Okay, everything he's saying is correct. But you just take away the bombastic language of how they are terrified of any kind of information distribution that they can't control, and then they know they've lost. We are the outliers, like as far as age goes, of people who are want a free Palestinian state and don't want Palestinians to be wiped off the face of the
kind of
earth.
lying. 40 is
Yeah.
I'm
We're the outlier, but they.
When my birthday hits later this year, maybe I'll be anti-Palestine. Maybe I'll be Zionist.
There you go. But yeah, they know they know this thing's about over, but they don't know how to transition into something else. But yeah, so. But going back to what I was saying, it's not a. This isn't the main driver. The main driver is that China has the people who actually donate, the lobbyists, the tech lobby, big tech, whatever you want to call it, have that donate to the left and the right. Well, we don't have a left and right, but the Republicans and the Democrats in this country.
And what the mainstream describes as left and right.
Yeah, so this is to protect Google and Facebook. This is not
and Twitter.
And Twitter, yeah, absolutely. This is to protect them.
Think, Elon Musk wants Big Daddy government to come in and save his poor small bean Twitter that he is constantly losing money on.
Mm-hmm. And the thing that's gotten out of hand is if you want to have a discussion about being anti-TikTok, that's a discussion to be had because there are a lot of issues with TikTok, and TikTok is a social media app that everyone's using right now, but it's the same issues with anything Meta or Google are putting out, or especially Twitter's a dumpster fire. It's just a place, it's a Nazi clubhouse after Musk bought it. It's the idea of how the TikTok that reaches that the Chinese government allows is completely different than ours, and they would never let the content that gets uploaded, shares, and goes viral here to be uploaded, shared, and go viral in China. So so there's a question there of why that is.
That is impingement on civil liberties for Chinese. For the Chinese, this is part of the it's part of the Cold War, sure, but it's also, again, if America is supposed to have the free exchange of ideas or whatever, and freedom of speech, and not supposed to do censorship, the things that Elon Musk always talks about being the most important things in the world, then you kind of have to you're going to create controversy when the government that's supposed to be upholding those values and upholding those rights just decides, what, screw that, we actually was kidding, we didn't mean it.
What I'm saying is there is a discussion to be had about a device that's in your pocket that is tuned in to someone's, let's say potential mental illness, and will feed into that and will just let you go down a rabbit hole of your worst impulses. There's a discussion to be. What's that?
That's not the argument being made, though.
No, not at all. But I'm saying that is the discussion that should be being had. But it's not being had at all. And also, if you think, and going back to my thing of, the TikTok in China is completely different than the TikTok that goes out to the rest of the world. If you think that this isn't, I won't say call it a psyop, but if you think this isn't again, what's the word I'm looking for? A happy accident for the Chinese government to let people wallow in whatever delusions or mental illness they might have and go down TikTok rabbit holes and kind of rot a society from the inside out. If you think the Chinese government isn't pro that, then this is just the new age. You're crazy, because this is just the new age voice of America is what it is. It's the same stuff that the CIA and we have had going on in every country that's our enemy, our air quote enemy for forever. And I say VOA, Voice of America, is a radio station that's in all these countries that pumps out American propaganda. The Chinese government's just better at it than us, and that's one of the reasons why they want to have it